Belize, tonight, families across the country open their electricity bills and ask the same question. How did it get this high? Some say their costs have doubled, others even tripled. Then, fire tearing through one of Belize's most heartbreaking landscapes, most breathtaking landscapes. Baldy Beacon is now burning for days as questions grow over who's responsible and justice in a shocking double murder. A man found guilty of killing his wife and his own brother. His story rejected by the court. Plus, Belize is young, but its leaders aren't. With 61% of the population under 35, are the next generation being locked out of power? And red ink for the National Bus Company. Losses mounting now, with hopes pinned on a future turnaround. These stories and much more start right now.
Was built by people, neighbors helping neighbors, standing side by side with those who trust us to protect what matters most and help build our communities. Being there when needed most. Across borders, across generations. Still growing, still giving, still just getting started after 185 years.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Sticker shock at the meter, and Belizeans are feeling the squeeze. Across the country, families are opening their electricity bill and doing a double take, and some reporting increase as high as 200%. For many, it's a financial hit they didn't see coming, and it's happening at the worst possible time, with fuel prices climbing and the overall cost of living already stretching household budgets. These rising energy costs are adding even more pressure. So, what's behind the surge and how are everyday Belizeans coping? Today, News 5's Brittany Gordon hits the streets of Belize City to hear directly from those affected and takes a closer look at what's driving the increase. Here's her report.
Anyone else light bill just hit double for no reason? Yes, I gone from 170 to 312. Yup, my bill is usually 40 something, but this time it comes 70. Yes, mine is normally 195 and it went up to 330. Mine's for some reason double. I was wondering the same thing. Mine from 200 to 4 change. Mine from $90 to $138. From 80 to 256. That's because I am at home on weekends only. Mine double. Yup, a whole $100. Same me. Mine's double. I thought I was getting crazy when I saw the big jump. Now I know I am not alone. Are you doing a double take when you open your electricity bill? You're not the only one. Across social media, Belizeans are sounding off, saying their latest bills are hitting harder than expected. Some report that their charges actually doubled between April and May, while others say they're paying $30 to $50 more than usual. So, what's behind the sudden spike, and why now?
Yes, it's gone up too much.
By like how much, ma'am?
Too much.
Back in January, Belize Electricity Limited's rates increased to $0.4427 per kilowatt hour. This increase was requested to cover nearly $108 million in past and projected energy supply costs for BEL. However, one consumer shares that her bills have gotten higher ever since BEL implemented smart meters. Have you noticed your bill increase?
Yes, ma'am.
By how much should I say?
I like say $30, and it depends because they change the meter.
4 months after raising rates, BEL is asking to keep the average electricity price the same through to July 2028. The company also wants the option to add up to 0.0152 per kilowatt hour to cover short-term cost swings. But that increase hasn't been approved or taken effect. We reached out to BEL for answers. Here's what they told us. We would like to clarify that no new systems have been implemented for the calculation of bills outside of the rate increase that came into effect in January. We understand the concern being raised and will address them further in our formal response. One customer noted that his bill tripled when using air conditioning at home and decided to limit usage to cut costs.
We used to use AC, and with that 300 I would stop using AC and use the fan and end up at 85 and so.
Another customer said he hasn't seen a big jump at home, but expects households that depend on air conditioning to feel the impact most.
I will tell you the truth. I never noticed it because I just pay the bill. Understand? But I hear the same thing for other people that you have an increase, one substantial increase. But this is the heat season, the hot season, so suppose that the electricity come down, the price, no? Because the people that need use the AC or not only for one luxury, for necessity.
The jump in prices hits hard for many customers as fuel prices continue to rise.
How can the Belizean people survive in an economy such as this? We won't make it.
One customer was stunned after her bill tripled, saying it didn't make sense since she's rarely home and hasn't changed her energy use in months.
I went from $62 and then when my bill came in last night, it went to $237.
And do you have anyone that stays at home working throughout the day?
No, ma'am. I'm out of my house Monday to Saturday from 6:30 until 5:30 back in the evening. I go back home.
BEL once floated a plan to charge customers based on when they use electricity, with higher and lower rates throughout the day. But that system never got approved, and it was never rolled out. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
As of now, BEL has not explained the reason for the bill increase customers have experienced. There's more news after the break, so please stay tuned.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For thou shalt be witnesses unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard." One night a woman dreamed that she was having a conversation with God, and she was angry about all the suffering and evil that she saw in the world around her. So she complained to the Lord, "Why don't you do something about all this?" God gently replied, "I did. I created you." Man often violates every law and principle that God has established to bring peace and happiness on earth among men. And then, when the consequences of such sin and disobedience begin to manifest itself, he expects God to rush in with another flood or something and bring everything back to order. God could, but normally doesn't. What God does do is to normally work through human beings like you and me, changing them and enabling them to function as agents of change in our world. He raises up an Abraham Lincoln, a Thomas Jefferson, or a Martin Luther King, or an Apostle Paul, whom he changes and uses as an agent of change in the world. To a world that neglected and rejected Christ as the promised Messiah, Paul left 14 of the 27 books of the New Testament to convince and change. To a world divided by race and religion, Paul taught in these books that there was neither Jew nor Greek, neither male nor female, neither bond nor free, for all were one in Christ Jesus. God's power changed Paul. God's ministry through Paul forever changed the world. What about you? What change in your community and in your world is your life bringing about today? Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. so you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
Save the credit union way.
For 82 years, Holy Redeemer Credit Union has been making a difference in people's lives. Member owners, you are invited to attend the Holy Redeemer Credit Union 82nd Annual General Meeting. Join us on Saturday, May 30th at 2 p.m. sharp at the Belize Civic Center. Be present for your business meeting and hear important reports about the continued growth and strength of your credit union. Holy Redeemer Credit Union proudly boasts over 67,000 member owners, $876.1 million in total assets, $729.5 million in total savings, $146.6 million in total equity, and $31.7 million in total surplus. And this year, an impressive $26.7 million will be returned to member owners through dividends and rebates. Remember, to enter the venue, you must present your HRCU passbook and a valid ID. See you at the 82nd AGM of HRCU, Saturday, May 30th, 2 p.m. sharp at the Civic Center. Holy Redeemer Credit Union, making a difference in people's lives.
Save, it will make you rich someday.
Get ready. The Belize Game Changers Awards, funded by the European Union, is here, celebrating the bold ideas, big hearts, and everyday Belizeans doing extraordinary things. Join us as we celebrate the stories, the impact, and the energy behind Belize's Game Changers. Catch the premiere on Channel 5, Wednesday, May 27 at 8:30 p.m. You can also watch online on the European Union in Belize's Facebook page at 9:30 p.m. or tune in to TNC on Friday, May 29 at 7 p.m. Belize Game Changers Awards. Don't just hear about the change, watch it happen.
Ready, Dangriga. Something big is coming your way. Open your eyes, Summerfest 2026 is heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on June 12th at 6:30 a.m. at the iconic Alejo Beni Park for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and pure talent. This year, it's all about the kids, from singing to dancing, poetry to performances. If they've got talent, we've got the stage. Bring out the entire family and come celebrate creativity, culture, and the future stars of Belize. Expect fun, music, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. Open your eyes, Summerfest 2026, where young talent shines the brightest.
This Mother's May, celebrate the woman who makes the house feel like home all month long. Great deals like 15% off bathroom and kitchen fixtures from Moen, Hansgrohe, and Duraflow. Plus 15% off Hispasensa tiles, Stormguard windows, and 40% off Sunlight windows. And 15% off Berger paints and huge savings on clearance colors. So come in to Habet and Abet or Brothers Abet, call us or WhatsApp us today and make this Mother's May one to remember. Happy Mother's Day to all marvelous moms.
Belize's most scenic landscapes is now drawing serious attention. Beyond the heated exchanges between the Ministry of Defense and activist Elvin Penner lies the Bald Hills at Baldy Beacon, an iconic stretch of the Mountain Pine Ridge Reserve, now scarred by flames. Residents say the fire has been burning unchecked since Tuesday, raising concerns about the extent of the damage. Today, News 5's Shane Williams made his way into the reserve to see it firsthand and assess the impact.
We are in the Baldy Beacon area of the Mountain Pine Ridge, where the Belize Defense Force is executing an operation to destroy explosive ordinances. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, according to landowners, those ordinances started a fire that ran wild.
We only lost 10 acres to the fire because we had a creek and there was roads that prevented it from coming there.
He's a controversial figure, one many didn't expect to step back into the spotlight. But Elvin Penner says he's stepping in where others won't. The self-described disgraced former minister is now drawing attention for what he calls a reckless situation, one that has already destroyed hundreds of acres of vegetation. Whether welcomed or not, Penner has once again become a lightning rod, this time putting environmental damage front and center.
Because of some of the explosions, there were some bits of fire that spread around, and because of the wind and the dryness of the area, the fire spread quite rapidly. And so even though we were exercising the safest possible procedures, the fire did manage to spread. So we deployed subsequent manpower, subsequent resources. We partnered with the Forestry Department, NEMO, several stakeholders in the area to contain the fire. On Wednesday, the fire was just about, we had the resources deployed to be able to further contain the fire, so there was no further loss of property and definitely not any loss of life.
The Ministry of Defense says the area is a military zone and security protocols are put in place to ensure the area is restricted and no danger to civilians.
Whenever we are operating in the area, whether it be live firing or explosions, in training or operations, we clearly demarcate with signs along the road. There's only one way in and one way out, so we demarcate all along the way.
But we were able to drive straight up to just a couple hundred yards away from the detonation site with no barrier of any kind to stop us, unless if you count this tree trunk on the side of the road. And no warning signs to alert us, unless you count this inconspicuous red rug on this tree.
CEO Usher went on record to say anytime they do any kind of explosive or any kind of activity, any kind of dangerous activity where civilians should not be around, they would properly barricade the area. They would demarcate the area. They would at least have some danger signs up. They would at least have personnel on site preventing civilians from entering such a sensitive and dangerous site. And as you can see behind me, there's nothing like that. There was nothing like that yesterday either.
However, as shown on this sign here off the Caracol Road entering the Kuma-Karen private road leading to the base, the only restriction made clear here are for those in logging and military trucks.
This was a known British joint BDF sometimes task, area that was training was happening. There were signs. There were camps, there were barricades when activities were happening, and it was being kept safe. Then they abandoned this area, which is mostly private land. I think we're standing on private land right now. When they came back, they started investigating and they realized there was quite a bit of private owners here now, with some activity happening here.
And there is still evidence left from the British military's time in this area, like this base for the Friends for Conservation and Development, who are the ones now working to preserve the forest. The key question now is what responsibility the Ministry of Defense will take for the damage done.
We don't want it to destroy any material or property that people have in the area. So we have deployed significant resources to mitigate all that from happening. We do take accountability, but also there are some things that are outside of our control.
Now they have claimed responsibility for what they did. This fire was started by them. Last time they didn't claim responsibility. Now they have officially claimed responsibilities. Maybe I want to charge for some of the pine trees that I had fertilized and grown for the past 10 years, on at least my 10 acres. That is burnt.
In case you feel far removed from this flare-up, the Baldy Beacon Valley leads directly to the Macal River from multiple points, streaming into the Belize River, which is the life source for more than half of the country. The latest update we have received is, though still active, the fire has not reached across the Roaring Creek, and cool conditions tonight should be enough to render this wild blaze contained. Shane Williams reporting for News 5.
Former Minister Elvin Penner is refuting claims that he rushed to secure land inside a BDF training zone before the 2020 election. Defense CEO Francis Usher says Penner obtained multiple parcels in the area and fast-tracked titles during the COVID election period. But Penner calls the accusations misleading and politically driven. He says the process took years, not months, and argues the military zone was created around private land, not the other way around. Penner also downplays the scope, saying the disputed land totals just 35 acres later divided among 7 people, while a larger nearby property was legally purchased.
I did say I got one piece of land as a government minister. Never ever gotten a piece of land before. I'm not entitled to a little piece of lease where nobody else wanted it with some other family members through the proper process. It took probably 5 years from the application, the recommendation part of the minister in charge at the time, to where I got even just the lease probably took 5 years. Speed up, there was no speeding up. It was properly done, properly surveyed, properly inspected. Then once we got title, which took probably, like I said, 5 years, I decided to share some of those properties. That little 35 acres, cut it up in 7 or 8 smaller pieces, which all of them were in my name initially, but now are 7 different owners. No, they want to twist it like if I got 7 big pieces of land back here. All that noise is about 35 acres of land. We did buy, and you can see the beautiful piece of land to my right here, almost 950 or almost 1,000 acres, private land. We invested in it. It had been private for decades. So land grab or de-reserve any land? No. Got some land? Yes. Thanks to my own government, it took me 12 years to subdivide it.
Elvin Penner says the amount of time it took him to get title for the property is proof that he certainly got no favors from the UDP government. Up next, gunfire shatters the calm. And 2 lives lost. 1 man now convicted. After hearing all the evidence, Justice Candice Nanton found Miguelito Encalada guilty of murdering his wife, Desiree Gonzalez, and his brother, George Rochester, both shot in broad daylight in Ladyville in April 2023. Encalada claimed gunmen invaded his business, killed his family, and spared him. But the court rejected that story. Key evidence tied to the murders to his licensed firearm, and within minutes of delivering her decision, Justice Nanton handed down 2 guilty verdicts. Families from both sides packed the courtroom, reacting quietly as the decision was read. Sentencing is set for July 2026, with multiple reports ordered as the court considers the possibility of a capital punishment case. A brazen shooting in Unitedville has now led to murder charges. One of the accused is a minor. Police say they have cracked the case behind the killing of Alan Gongora, who was gunned down at his home on Tuesday night in an attack that rattled the quiet community. Residents reported hearing gunfire and then spotting a man running from the scene. Investigators say the suspect jumped into a black SUV and sped off in the direction of Belmopan. Now, just days later, authorities believe they have tracked down those responsible. A male minor and a 27-year-old man are both facing murder charges, marking a major development in the case.
As a consequence of the ongoing investigation into the murder of 43-year-old Alan Gongora, which occurred on 19 May 2026 in Unitedville, Coyote District, police have formally arrested and charged 2 persons, being a 15-year-old male minor of Belize City and 27-year-old Javon Ramclam, also of Belize City, for the crime of murder. Investigators anticipate that additional arrests will be made as this ongoing investigation continues. As it relates to the inquiry, it is an ongoing investigation, both in relation to the firearms that were discovered as well as the additional persons. You would note that whenever firearms are seized, there's a process that is conducted, which includes it being submitted to the National Forensic and Science Services Laboratory for forensic testing. And we have also been gathering further information to assist in the investigation. As I had indicated, we do anticipate that further arrests will be made in relation to the apprehension as well as the discovery.
What next? Earlier this week, ASP Stacey Smith confirmed that the incident is believed to be drug-related. Last week, we sat down with relatives of BDF officer Clive Bizer, who say they are deeply disappointed with the outcome of his case. Bizer was shot and killed in 2025 by a fellow soldier while on duty at a military outpost. The family says they expected a murder conviction. Instead, the accused was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 12 years in prison. So, how did the case unfold behind the scenes? Today, we asked CEO Francis Usher for answers. He says the BDF and the ministry turned over all available evidence to the Director of Public Prosecutions, leaving the final call in their hands.
When this unfortunate incident occurred, I was still an active serving member in the Belize Defense Force. And so it hit all of us extremely hard, especially not only because it was a serving member of the force, but also he was a serving member of the force who was on duty, and his ultimate demise was caused. There were various factors, but it was ultimately caused by the hands of another member of the force. So that rocked all of us, that shocked all of us. But as an organization, as the Belize Defense Force and as the ministry, our duty at that point was to ensure that all of the relevant documents, evidence, reports were compiled, they were not tampered with, and they were submitted to the police department, the DPP, for them to then for justice to then take its course based on the events that occurred and those that were there, the evidence that was on hand. And so we handed all of those over. But how does it strike me? You know, it was difficult at the time, and every time I think about it, it is still difficult.
Following the incident, the BDF updated its policy on alcohol at military bases, but for Bizer's loved ones, the result still doesn't sit right. Still ahead, tensions rising over SARA. The Public Service Union pushes back, warning of lost benefits and accusing the government of ignoring their concerns. But first, here's the weather forecast from the National Meteorological Service.
is hitting the road once again for our country tour. Join us live at 6:30 a.m. from Ella's School Spot in beautiful Hopkins Village for an exciting morning filled with culture, delicious food, entertainment, and so much more. Get ready to experience the vibrant spirit of Hopkins as we showcase the people, flavors, tradition that makes the village so special. Don't miss the start of our 2026 country tour, starting at Hopkins Village, only on Open Your Eyes.
In Belize, change is taking shape every day. It all starts with game changers. Investing in modern transport, better health infrastructure, renewable power for all, digital transformation, and more opportunities for a brighter future, the European Union's Global Gateway Initiative is unlocking new potential. Game changers are bringing this to life. Game changers, empowering the future. Follow the EU in Belize to meet the game changers.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP. 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
Focus is not for us to collect it while it arrives at shore.
Arsenic, copper, cobalt, cadmium, zinc, iron, mercury, and a bunch of them. So with this report, we are doing an economic impact of sargassum to the tourism sector.
The coordination is really taken at a national scope, and we do this through that sargassum task force.
There have been actions that have been taken, and we will continue to take those actions towards mitigating sargassum collection and the landing of sargassum. We have identified it as a national priority.
Welcome to Belize Travel Beat, the pulse of Belizean tourism.
A routine police operation in Keycocker quickly turned into a drug bust involving two young suspects. Officers targeted a residence in the village where they reportedly uncovered several grams of suspected cocaine along with plastic bags containing cannabis. The operation led to the arrest of a 22-year-old man and a 15-year-old minor. Assistant Superintendent Stacy Smith shared more details on the discovery and the arrests.
Police have formally arrested and jointly charged 22-year-old Idan Pineda and a 15-year-old minor, both of Kikaka Village, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply, more commonly known as drug trafficking, as well as the offense of possession of controlled drugs. These arrests follow an operation that was conducted at the residence, which led to the discovery of 19 Ziploc plastic bags containing suspected cocaine, weighing a total of 16.11 grams, and 4 plastic bags containing cannabis, weighing a total of 21.33 grams. Pineda was charged with an additional count of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply after the search of his person led to the discovery of 4 Ziploc bags containing suspected cocaine, weighing a total of 2.45 grams.
The involvement of someone so young raises serious questions about youth exposure to drugs in the island community. 2 more illegal guns are now off Belize city streets and 2 men are behind bars. Police say separate operations led officers to 31-year-old Kendale Carcamo and 25-year-old Jermaine Anderson. During those searches, authorities reportedly found unlicensed firearms in both cases. It's part of an ongoing effort to clamp down on gun crime in the city. Assistant Superintendent Stacey Smith shared more details on how those operations unfolded and what charges the men now face.
Police have formally arrested and charged 31-year-old Kendale Carcamo of Ebony Street, Belize City, for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license, kept ammunition without a gun license, and possession of controlled drug. These charges follow an operation carried out by officers attached to the Special Patrol Unit SPU at the residence of Carcamo. The arresting officer reported that whilst conducting a search on the person of Carcamo, a black in color 9mm Beretta brand pistol fell from his waist, and this firearm, when inspected, was observed to contain 14 live rounds of 9mm ammunition. A further search of the person of Carcamo resulted in the discovery of a Ziploc bag which contained another little plastic with suspected cocaine weighing a total of 0.8 grams. Police have formally arrested and charged 25-year-old Jermaine Anderson of West Collect Canal, the Commercial Bay area of Belize City, for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license. This arrest follows an operation conducted by a team of Special Patrol Unit personnel at the residence of Anderson, which led to the discovery of a black in color Austria brand 9mm pistol.
Belize City remains under a state of emergency due to increasing gun violence and gang warfare. Another drug bust, this time in Belmopan, led to the arrest of 3 people. An operation at a residence in the city uncovered over 500 grams of suspected crack cocaine. Here's more from the police.
Police have formally arrested and jointly charged 23-year-old Ayana Samuel, 19-year-old Tasha Young, and 20-year-old Akeem Maivit for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. These charges follows an operation that was conducted by Office of the Gang Intelligence Investigation and Interdiction Unit, GI3, at a residence in Belmopan City on 20th May 2026, which resulted in the discovery of 3 plastic bags which contain suspected crack cocaine, which, when weighed, total 585 grams.
Police operations continue in the capital city. In Belizean politics, youth aren't just underrepresented, they're almost invisible. The numbers don't lie. Just 1 of 31 area representatives is under 35, and the Senate isn't any better. Meanwhile, 61% of Belizeans are younger than 35, so why the disconnect? Are young people unelectable, or are they just being shut out? As the country's leadership gets older, that question is getting louder. There are small signs of change. At the municipal level, parties are starting to make room for younger voices. Tonight, News 5's Paul Lopez looks at the growing generational gap and whether Belize is finally ready to close it. Here's his report.
Electoral politics has long been seen as a tough, no-holds-barred arena, one dominated by seasoned, familiar faces. But in a country where 61% of the population is under 35, many are now asking where our young leaders are. Despite that overwhelming youth majority, political parties often lean on the same tired and tested names, recycling candidates instead of introducing fresh voices. So tonight we're asking, does Belize's political landscape truly have room for the next generation? Or are young people still waiting on the sidelines for their chance to lead?
You cannot raise minimum wage with one hand while taking back the same money at our gas station, the light bill, the grocery store, NHI, Social Security.
This current PUP government woke up and chose violence.
30-year-old Melvin Sutherland and 33-year-old Kerrick Samuels have expressed their interest in contesting the 2027 municipal elections as candidates under the United Democratic Party in Belize. Sutherland also serves as the leader of the UDP's Youth National Arm.
People always had referred to me as the nerd. I always had the interest for international news. I always had the interest for what is happening within our political arena within our country. I remember growing up, riding on my bike to see Dean Barrow speak.
I realized that I have to be able to do something different. I have to be able to stand up for something and be a leader within, my capacity, right? So that's why I was inspired.
33-year-old Malcolm Nunes serves as a Belize City Councillor for People's United Party and leads the party's youth arm.
It became the life mission of mine, just to serve. It doesn't have to be recognized, but to serve, to see the development for young persons or for anybody.
Critics argue that young people lack experience and struggles to handle the pressures of political office.
Go to the high schools, go to the primary schools, go to the sixth forms, go to the university, and you engage with these young people and see what these young people are doing, and then you come and tell me that they don't have the potential to serve at a different capacity.
Everyone has their own perspective of what they believe and your age, right? I think once you're in a position anywhere in life, you become, the maturity develops over time and you become comfortable in the position you currently hold.
Can young leaders steer clear of corruption and self-serving politics?
I have a son, a young son, and I want when it's his turn to do whatever he wants to do in life, he could look back and say, my dad was instrumental in making sure young persons have a voice in whatever capacity.
For me, it all comes down to morality. Right or wrong, that is the reality, right or wrong. My conviction, that is what I go on. So that is what it boils down to, Paul.
The leaders of both major parties have publicly declared their support for younger representation in the 2027 municipal elections.
The youth voice is going to be an integral part of leadership for the United Democratic Party movement.
I know about two young men that are considering in running, and I think they're excellent choices for Belize City.
Ironically, when Alan Pollard expressed interest in 2023 to run for mayor, PM Briceño told him to sit back and think things through.
My recommendation to him, just sit back and think things through as to what are your real objectives, what are your long-term objectives, and do not lose sight of that.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
After more than a decade in the making, Belize's long-awaited Occupational Safety and Health Bill is still stuck on the sidelines, and workers are growing impatient. The legislation promises stronger protections nationwide, but it has yet to clear the Senate. Union senators are calling out problems, pointing to what they say are serious gaps and contradictions in the bill. As a result, labor leaders are pumping the brakes. Public Service Union President Dean Flowers says the delay is necessary, backing a joint decision by social partners to hold off until those concerns are fixed. For them, the priority isn't speed, it's getting the law right.
Based on their appearance on your morning show, I think they did an excellent job in explaining to the Belizean people why is it that they felt it necessary to withhold that bill and to ensure that certain amendments is included or certain questions are responded. I think they also did an excellent job in pointing out that there exists very serious deficiencies in the Ministry of Labor. And I only pray and hope that one day we will stop politicizing these ministries and departments so that we get the right people in, the competent people in, that will be able to influence very good policies and answer the difficult questions. It is comical. When you read that letter that was sent out by the clerk of assembly with reference to the labor department, it's an indictment on their capacity, in my humble opinion. It is the equivalent of me entering a room and having a draft bill presented to me by an attorney this week. And when the question was posed to her, her best response was, I never write the bill, so I can't answer your question. So what the hell are you here presenting the bill if you don't know how to respond to the questions with regards to the bill? So I think it's the same thing that occurred where the Senate and the Labour is concerned. And I want to give my unequivocal support to those social partners, Senator, and I hope that we get the bill right.
Flowers expects that more details will be revealed following a meeting with the National Trade Union Congress of Belize this Saturday. Cabinet has approved a major shift that would turn the Belize Tax Service Department into a semi-autonomous revenue authority, or SARA. The government plans to roll it out in phases, promising consultations along the way as it restructures governance, staffing, and operations under the Ministry of Finance. But that assurance isn't calming everyone. The Public Service Union is pushing back hard, warning that workers could lose key benefits and accusing the government of brushing aside their concerns. PSU President Dean Flowers is now calling for transparency as the debate over SARA heats up. We spoke with him about why the union isn't backing down.
On Wednesday, we were invited to a meeting of what will be the project steering committee to oversee the transition of the Belize Tax Services Department into a semi-autonomous revenue authority. To summarize that meeting, in essence, we would have spoken a little bit about the term of reference, which we are yet to agree on. And that is important. We have to get the terms of reference right, because when we declared a trade dispute against the Ministry of Finance, and we gave our rationale to the Labour Commissioner and the Ministry of Public Service, the Ministry of Public Service themselves, through the Minister of Public Service, would have agreed that the union was justified in its position and that the Ministry of Finance had done a horrible job in engaging and disclosing and being transparent with what they wanted to do with one of the largest revenue generating departments of government. I can repeat once again for the record that no other than the Minister of Public Service would have said that we need disclosure to be able to meaningfully engage and comment and influence this policy decision so that it can work if it is that this is the direction that the government wishes to go. And to paraphrase his words, he would have said, we need a disclosure of the legislation. I can confirm that the draft legislation was shared with us. Quick reaction is that it is deficient. It is wanting, especially where respect for workers and workers' rights is concerned. It is holistically and completely deficient in that regards. But we will be, we have 30 days to provide our input on that, and we will be doing just that.
Flowers also noted that no analysis or studies justifying the transition to SARA have been shared with the PSU, promising to press aggressively for transparency and to scrutinize CARTAC recommendations that support the proposal. Coming up, measles cases are on the rise, putting health officials on high alert as clusters emerge across the country.
Economy perform in 2025, and what is the outlook for 2026? Belize's economy is estimated to have grown by 2.7% in 2025, following a strong post-pandemic recovery. However, growth is expected to moderate to 2% in 2026 due to global challenges, including the conflict in the Middle East. Disruptions in oil and gas supplies have pushed up global energy prices, increasing the cost of imported fuels. Higher fuel prices will lead to higher costs for transportation, food, and other goods and services. As a result, inflation is projected to rise to 3.5% in 2026, up from 1.1% in 2025. Amid these pressures, Belize's financial system remains strong and well capitalized. In 2025, domestic banks recorded a capital adequacy ratio of 17.9%, doubling the 9% minimum requirement. These high capital buffers are meant to absorb potential losses. In addition, the central bank's international reserves grew to $1.1 billion in 2025, strengthening Belize's ability to make external payments for essential imports and debt. For more details, visit centralbank.org.bz and read our latest annual report and upcoming public information notice. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Rock, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Season 8 of KTV. I want only be. This is a moment. If you got the voice, the vibe, and the passion to live everything you've got on this stage. Mark your calendar and get camera ready. Auditions are June 6 and 7 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. At a Greater Belize, Leisure Studios and Tony Drive, Belize City. Hey, selected contestants will enter the KTV Season 8 competition, and the lucky winner will go home with a 10,000 grand prize. This is your moment. Are you ready? Are you ready? I want. This is your moment. Are you ready? Are you ready? I want. For me, this is your moment.
Over the past 5 years, Digi has invested more than $17 million to revolutionize Belize's digital future. Our advanced 4G LTE network and expanded fiber infrastructure have empowered vital road arteries, connected the farthest valleys and fertile farmlands, linked the bustling cities to the remote keys, and brought cutting-edge connectivity to schools, businesses, healthcare centers, and tourist destinations. fueling economic growth, enhancing education, and strengthening communities across the nation. By choosing Digi, you're leading Belize's digital transformation, bridging distances, opening opportunities, and empowering every corner of our beautiful country. Connect with Digi. Empower Belize.
A sudden outbreak of measles has Belizean health officials on high alert, with 12 cases confirmed across the country and clusters emerging in Punta Gorda, the Cayo district, and Belize City. Most infections have been traced to travelers from Guatemala, where cases have surged since April, raising fears of cross-border spread. The Ministry of Health has launched nationwide surveillance on isolated measures, but the impact is already being felt. One Belize City school was forced to cancel its sports day after a suspected case. We heard from Laura Friesen, Acting Deputy Director of Public Health and Wellness, who stressed that while all clusters are linked to imported infections, the presence of local transmission highlights the urgent need for vigilance as Belize works to contain the disease.
All the cases have been linked to travel to Guatemala. So at this point, we don't have any evidence of local spread in our country. However, we would encourage the public to get vaccinated because having constant introductions from travel to Guatemala means that there is risk of an outbreak in our country if the population is not vaccinated. So we would really encourage everyone who is considering to travel, especially to get vaccinated, but also if you are not considering to travel, also get vaccinated so that if the virus does come, you do come in contact with the virus at any point in time. And sometimes this contact can be a contact that you do not realize because it might be a very brief contact. It could be in a public place. It could be in public transportation. So the very, very best thing is for you to get your measles vaccine so that if you would come in contact with the virus, your body is already trained to fight that virus and that infection would not take hold in your body. So remember that if there's more than one unvaccinated person in a household, measles is very contagious. It's very difficult to avoid if there's one person that's sick in the household. So even if that person goes under isolation immediately in that household, there is still that risk of exposure to anyone in that household.
Belize's measles outbreak has led to one hospitalization so far, with all patients recovering, but health officials warn the virus can cause serious long-term health complications. It's not profit, at least not yet, for Belize's national bus company. When the public-private partnership first launched, operator Sergio Chuk brought Westline Bus Company into the fold, knowing the road ahead wouldn't be easy. Now, months in, he says the numbers are exactly where they expected, deep in the red. But for Chuk, that's part of the plan. He explains that early losses were always expected, with the goal of eventually stabilizing and turning a profit down the line. The real game changer, he says, will be the shift to electric buses, cutting fuel costs and boosting margins. Until then, the company is staying the course, betting on long-term gains over short-term returns. Here's how Chuk puts it.
It has been going just as the plan showed would be going in the first 6 months. It is going to be rough. The company will continue losing money initially. However, as the fears of introducing the electrical buses start coming in, we'll be leveling off, and our projections show by the end of the year we should be afloat. We actually were prepared for this. We knew it was going to start bumpy, and all in all, it's no surprise. We know what we're doing. I think the board of directors has some very good people that are extremely knowledgeable in the industry, and so they're steering the company in the right direction. I'm okay with it. I think my investment is fairly safe because it is a long-term investment. We did not, well, I definitely did not think that I was going to make money immediately, but when all the chips fall in place, I think it is going to be very welcoming for myself and extremely welcoming for the commuters because the service is getting better. The equipment will be world class, but for that we need a couple more months so that those electric buses start rolling in.
According to the Minister of Transport, Dr. Louis Zabane, those electric buses are expected to begin rolling in by the end of the year. Belizean workers just got a major boost on the international stage. This week, the International Court of Justice ruled that the right to strike is protected under a key international labor organization convention. In a landmark decision, the court made it clear that workers have the right to organize and take industrial action. For Belize, that ruling hits close to home. The Constitution already guarantees freedom of assembly and association, but this decision adds another layer of protection. Public Service Union President Dean Flowers says it's a big win, one that strengthens workers' ability to stand up for their rights when disputes arise.
While in Belize, our right to strike has never been impeded, I can tell you that some of our comrades across other regions have been jailed, have been killed, and have been prohibited from engaging in these in strike action when it is that they reach an impasse with their employer. So the fact that the ICJ would have rendered such an opinion that ILO Convention 87 does include that right to strike, I think it solidifies our right here in Belize for us to continue withdrawing our labor when it is that government believes that they can ignore us. It gives us the assurance that we can withdraw our labor when government believe that they can impose policy decisions on us and the people that we represent without meaningful consultation. And of course, when there is anything that occurs within the working environment and on the national level that we believe are detriment to ourselves and the Belizean people, we can withdraw our labor. We do not withdraw our labor at whim. We withdraw our labor whenever there is a breach of our constitutional rights to be engaged, to be consulted, and to be informed. And so for us here in Belize, we are also celebrating that. The only thing that I would hope that will come out of this is that a serious consideration will be given to perhaps explicitly including that right in the revised Trade Unions Registration and Recognition Act, that is a fundamental right, because ILO Convention 87 is a fundamental constitution.
Legal experts say the ruling doesn't spell out exactly how and when strikes should happen. It's not a free pass to walk off the job, just a clear confirmation that the right to strike is protected under freedom of association. After the break, a frightening highway crash now has a name. Police identified the motorcyclist involved as 29-year-old Adrian Gerald Banner.
The future is calling. Belize Bank, your future, our commitment. For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures. Customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter. Smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting, just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Police have now identified the motorcyclist involved in Wednesday's frightening highway crash near Tea Kettle Village as 29-year-old Adrian Gerald Banner of Camalota Village. According to investigators, Banner was riding a black Lifan dirt bike westbound on the George Price Highway between miles 52 and 53 when he reportedly overtook three vehicles traveling in the same direction. Police say that while attempting to return to his lane approaching a curve, he lost control of the motorcycle and slammed into an iron railing on the right side of the road. The impact caused catastrophic injuries, including the severing of his right leg, along with abrasions to his arms, chin, and head. Police officers, BDF officers in the area, and bystanders rushed to assist the injured rider before an ambulance transported him to the Western Regional Hospital. Investigators continue to examine the circumstances surrounding the crash. The development of football in Belize is getting a closer look as local officials and international partners assess where the country stands on the global stage. The Football Federation of Belize, alongside FIFA, is reviewing findings from a recent analysis focused on amateur and grassroots football, a critical area that shapes the future of the sport and expands opportunities for players beyond the elite level.
Right now what is being presented is the actual findings from 2023-2024 when they did all the amateur surveys, no? So it's just a continuation. Now we have everything in black and white. They have compiled it. They have compiled the information for 185 other countries, and we're looking at how far the other countries are compared to Belize. And for us, it's looking pretty good that we are on the right path, that we are well organized, and that the work must continue.
We are here to present the main results, highlight and recommendation of the amateur football environment analysis in Belize. We conducted this analysis to get a big picture of the situation of the amateur football worldwide, and especially today in Belize, with two main goals. First of all, we would like to increase the global participation, and on the other hand, the second objective of this analysis is grow the game for all.
When it comes to grassroots and amateur football, starting at the bottom, the grassroots level, you either go to the amateur branch or you either go to the elite branch. In the world, it is less than 1% that goes to the elite branch. So it is important for us as a federation and also for FIFA and CONCACAF that we cater for the players that cannot reach the elite branch.
The workshop included certified coaches from across the country. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Jamie Rock. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.